Hey, Jason from Bohemia Bees here. We talk a lot about the bee community and the things that are out there to support each other. If you're needing advice, mentorship, local bee clubs, YouTube has been a great resource, as we know. I can tell you there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help. Even the most, experienced beekeeper, even the newest beekeeper. I know you're all familiar with the StreamTeam, or maybe you're not. It's a weekly stream that was put together by three YouTubers. Greg Burns from Nature's Image. You got Castle Hives, Brian from Castle Hives, and then you have Bruce from Bruce's Bees. Those three guys put together after the Hivelife conference in January of 2022 this stream, and the stream is really open to all beekeepers that come in and ask questions in the chat, and they usually highlight a particular beekeeper. We were honored or humbled, I should say, to be able to participate in that stream. One of the first ones that they had, we had met with them. So I'll put a link in the description below to that one. But we were also fortunate yesterday because I keep in contact with these fellow beekeepers, and even though I think I see everything in my apiary, and I think I have enough experience to kind of answer most questions that I have, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I need to kind of lean on the community. We talked about that in the 10 things, the top 10 things, or the top things that you didn't learn as a new beekeeper, and we got help from the community. Randy from Dirt Rooster and Cricket, and Jason Huff and Ian Stepler and such, and all these guys, these great resources across the whole U.S. that are helping us as beekeepers, new beekeepers and older beekeepers alike. So I was prompted to make a long story short, because I never do that. I talked to Bruce in the morning, or actually after it happened. It wasn't in the morning, it was in the afternoon when this event occurred. And I had a question about it. So I said, you know what, let me call Bruce. And I reached out to Bruce and Greg as well, and kind of threw them out what I saw, my observation, and let them give me some feedback. And Bruce recommended that I put together a question on a video and submit it for them to actually maybe answer on the stream. So it was a different way for us, a beekeeper like myself, to get a question out there to the group. And so that's what this video is. It's really just me leaning on the resources that are out there in the community, and having those guys at the StreamTeam, and they had a guest on there as well. Randall was on. So he Randall Carter, I believe is his last name. So he was the guest the other evening, and he is the one who was helping to chime in as well on questions for other beekeepers they may have in the chat or what have you. So I hope you enjoy the video, and that's really what this is just us asking a question on something we observed in our apiary that we didn't quite know what it was, and we leaned on those resources in that community, and they came up with some pretty good suggestions. So take a look, see if you like it, and then let me know what you think in the comments below.
So we got a couple things. We're coming up on an hour here. Number one, earlier today, Randall, Jason Crook from Bohemia Bees called me, and I think he also called Greg as well. He had an interesting thing happen at his bee yard. I guess he's out working bees or whatever today. And so he posed a question to me. We talked about a couple of theories of what may have been happening. Now, Jason's been keeping bees for a long time. We had him on here one time early in the StreamTeam. Several weeks ago, we had him on here and had a great live chat with him. And his channel is Bohemia Bees. Mm-hmm. But I asked him to go ahead and make a video and ask the question. And so the video is, I think, a little bit over a minute long, maybe a couple minutes long, but it's a really interesting thing that happened. And what I'd like to do is watch that video. And then if we could each come up with some ideas, if there's anybody out there in the comments that have an idea of what to happen, we'll kind of discuss this for just a few minutes. And then we got something we're going to try and do within the next few minutes as well. So go ahead and hit it, Brian.
Hey, Jason from Bohemia Bees. I figured I'd send in a video question rather than putting something in the chat. I'm really excited about seeing what your thoughts are on this. As you know, I've been beekeeping for many years, and I think I see everything, but then again, I come out and I see something I've never seen before. So my question would be, today, I was actually out up towards my house, which you can see is way in the back there, and there's a farm field behind me, way back here. And I've been around when there's been swarms in my apiary. I've been around for years seeing swarms, been in the middle of swarms, and I definitely know what a swarm looks like. However, today, I was getting to my truck up by my house, and there's this, what appeared to be a ball of bees, maybe a few hundred, I'm not really sure, 50 to 100, I'm not really sure how many, definitely not the size of a normal swarm, was all kind of in a flurry off the roof of my house. Now, as you can see, the weather here today is a little cloudy, overcast, a lot of wind, really not conducive for what I would define as a swarming weather. But you never know, right? Bees always surprise me. So above that house, there was a small cloud of bees that seemed to be kind of in a flurry that were shooting straight across my head, really over into the field behind me. Didn't look like a swarm, didn't look like they were landing on anything or gathering on anything. I kind of tried to see if I could follow where they went, but they just, took off. Was that a swarm or was that something else? Talking to Bruce earlier, we were talking about maybe it being a few other different options. So before I put any suggestions out there on what I think it is, we'll put it out to the audience, put it out to everyone else. What do you all think it is? It could be a lot of different possibilities, but I figured I'd send in the question, and hopefully I didn't take too much time asking the question. So thanks, everyone. Let me know what you think.
What a great format. I like that format. That's cool.
So what do you guys think about that? So my understanding from what Jason told me from the question there is it's a very, very small little cluster of bees, just not as big as normal swarm, and just kind of jetting almost like a comet across the yard. It wasn't like it wasn't acting really like a swarm, not as big as a typical swarm, even a cast swarm. What do y'all think that could have been? Any thoughts on that, Randall?
My initial reaction would be I've never seen exactly what he described, but at that time of the year where he's at, my first guess would be it's probably scouts, and perhaps getting together. If you read Dr. Seeley's books, Honeybee Democracy, that the bees have to come to consensus to move the swarm to the new cavity. So my guess would be that it's perhaps a group of scouts going to check out a site that's been recruited by some of the scouts as they finalize their selection process.
All right, Brian, what do you think?
My initial thing is I'm going towards, and I think a couple people in the chat here are saying the same thing, mating flight.
What do you think, Greg?
I think that's 100%. Jason called and kind of described. He said maybe 50 to 100 bees. It seemed like a dark cloud, but not a lot of bees. And they hit one spot, and then they zoomed up and went out towards the field, even further away from. And I asked him. I said, "Are you expecting any mating flights right now?" Because that's exactly what it looks like. That I'm on board. That's what I told him. I said, buddy, that looks like you just were watching drones kind of just hanging out with Sugar Mama, and they went on a ride. So I'll let him tell the rest of the story on what he saw right during the phone call. Bruce, what do you think?
Well, I think that's one option. I'm not really that familiar with what these drone congregation areas are like, but what I've always envisioned was just a group of hundreds, if not thousands, of drones in a big cloud, kind of up high in the sky. I could be wrong on that, and with the queen. But what I wonder is, does that queen, and Jason and I talked about that, does the queen just take off by herself and fly through those drones, or does she have like a little escort that takes her there? So my theory is that maybe that was a escorting group of bees taking a queen to a drone mating, because he said they were moving pretty quick. They weren't really, to him, I mean, to me it sounds kind of like almost like what he described in my mind is almost like a common of bees just going to a spot. And I know they were a little bit weird looking, but now he did say they were very loud, and I understand drones are much louder when they fly than regular bees. And so it's just an interesting little question. And I said, hey, Jason, man, make a video and we'll share it as a question on the chat tonight. So but what do you think about that? Maybe it was like a escort. The bees.
Have you ever seen them come home?
I have not. That I know of.
That's you guys have heard me say it. Beat the dead horse. Brian, what is the most important piece of equipment in the bee yard?
What? Well, I mean, there's. Well, let me ask this: What are you doing?
It has 4 legs, and you can sit on it, Brian.
Oh, well, the chair.
The thinking chair.
Yeah.
If you spend time in that thinking chair and you watch, especially when you're expecting you drop cells and you think they're going to over. I've seen them leave, and they'll leave out with a little ball of bees, and they'll bust out, And if you just sit there and watch, it doesn't take that long. Or in other colonies, what's interesting is if you and Randall, I'm especially excited for Randall keep an eye on this, because if you are cutting cells and you're making splits with capped cells, just put one frame of bees in a box, just a handful of bees, whatever's on the frame, and so you might have, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 bees. It doesn't take much more than that to carry a split or to get a queen back. But if you watch and even with no sealed brood in there, watch what happens to the population of that box before hatching and then after. Most of the time, you will see that she will bring back a half a pound to a pound of bees with her in that box. And that box has way more bees in it when she comes home than when she left, even when there's no sealed brood in there.
I've heard that.
I think that's what happens is mama is emitting that pheromone. She's flying off. You know, drones are definitely mating. They're following, they're running around. But on the way home, I think, or to and fro, I think she picks up some stragglers and they want to go home with mama. So I think
That's interesting.
that's what I would
So-
say. Jason really can't comment on what he saw later, but I'll let you guys finish your thoughts, and then maybe I'll let you know. I'll chime in on what he's seen as him and I are talking this through.
So what you're telling me then, since the one swarm that I just checked the other day, I saw a little virgin running around, and then that other colony that I saw the virgin emerge out and was running around, you're telling me that I need to go and get in my thinking chair right now and just watch.
I'm never going to tell anybody what to do in the bee yard. I would highly encourage you to spend a little time in that thinking chair, and you will learn so much about
Okay.
bees just by
All right.
emptying out your noggin and watching and getting to that place where you're just all of a sudden zoned out and you see, oh, that was a blur. That was a weird little ball of bees busting out. And then
Interesting.
all of a sudden, I told Jason, it's kind of like watching a swarm in reverse when she comes home, though, because she goes right in. And then it's almost like a new orientation flight from the outside. And then it's like it's like a reverse form. They just get sucked right back into the hive. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. Well, that's kind of what we think.
That'd be
So
my thought, yeah.
I'll tell you
Jason-
what he's seen as he asked me the question. And I told him what I thought. He goes, "What in the world?" And he looked over next to the truck. And guess what fell to the ground or fell to the side of the truck?
Drones.
Yep.
Oh,
The
really?
drone fell right there. It sure did. And he thought it was going to the bathroom or had something coming off the rear end there. It could have been its unit itself. It could have done its job and fell to the ground. Maybe it was going to the bathroom and used his truck. It's probably a Ford, but who knows?
Oh, come on now. Hey, I was raised in a Ford country. Built Ford tough. That's why I say built Ford. What kind of truck? Do you drive a truck, Randall?
You mean
Well, there you go. And for the record, I drive a Dodge, always have. So I'm a Mopar guy. But I do appreciate the feedback from the stream team and the community. The gentleman that put that on every Wednesday around 8 o'clock Eastern, Greg Burns and Brian and Bruce, of course, they all put together they're a class act, and they put together a great resource for beekeepers to join in the beekeeping community, to ask questions. And maybe they'll have in the future a way that you can submit a video question ahead of time. So hopefully I started a trend there. But yeah, appreciate all the advice, even the guests they had, Randall Carter. It was very interesting the way he approaches bees. Love watching his channel, as well as the other three guys on the stream. So make sure you subscribe to all those channels. I'll put the link in the description below to all four of them, so you have it. Remember, use your community, use your group of mentors, use your beekeeping clubs to help guide you through that process of learning bees. And even if you've done bees for many years, don't hesitate to ask a question, because there's always learning, always opportunity to learn when it comes to the craft of beekeeping. So appreciate everyone watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button down in the corner. It's probably on this side or that side, one of the two. There's a little red button. So make sure you hit that subscribe, hit the alert so you know when we have a new video. We try to publish content often, so we want to make sure that you know when it's out there to view it. And then, of course, make sure you share and put a comment below. We'd love hearing your feedback. If there's a thought you may have had related to what it was that I saw that was different than what the stream team may have indicated, then definitely put that below us too. I love responding to the comments and having that conversation. So appreciate all the support again. Thanks for watching. And remember, here at Bohemia Apiary, beekeeping is definitely more than a hobby. It's an obsession. Thanks for watching, everyone.